Hey, what's going on? GW coming to you live. I've been up for a while. My hair's a mess, and I couldn't sleep last night. Sometimes you just can't sleep. You know what I mean? You just roll around, do whatever. Your mind's relaxed, whatever, but you just can't. You can't stay asleep. So in the middle of that, I was up pretty early and caught a flick that I think was pretty interesting. Before I get into that, though, I want to say big shout out to my man Admiral Joe. He's a cool dude, and I've known him a long time. He himself has a YouTube channel as well, and he came up to me, you know, the other day, and we were talking at work, and he's like, "Dude, I really like your stuff," and I'm like, "Well, thank you," and that meant a lot because that means I'm reaching people, and I just want to say big ups to him, big ups to the Silverstream Company. Just so many people that have made this channel and support this channel and talk to me about it sometimes, which is really cool. um but anyway, I my wife got me a subscription to Mubi, which is an independent film streaming app. Basically, they have stuff like the Criterion channel. If Criterion channel was the main thing, this is like the offshoot of it, right? But I ended up checking it out because I heard a lot of buzz on it. And in fact, when the movie premiered, I don't have it in front of me, but we had got in the mail a little, postcard deal with the movie picture on it and said, you're invited to a screening, blah 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 blah, reserve now. Of course, it was in New York or somewhere, so I really didn't get a chance to go. Plus, it was like in the afternoon on a weekday, so I really didn't get to go there. But this movie is very interesting, to be fair. Um, it's not for everybody. I'm going to tell you that right now. It has elements of David Lynch films where the narrative kind of gets a little jagged. It's not a straight narrative. It has, it's not a fast moving movie. It's a slow burn movie, and it has a pretty cool cast in it, to be fair, too. It has Jennifer Lawrence. She's always great. Robert Pattinson. Nick Nolte is in it, and Sissy Spacek, who play Grandma and Grandpa. And the movie is a domino effect of what happens when let me get this right because I don't want to like mess up the title of them. All right. It's a movie about Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. They have a kid, and you see her slowly descend into postpartum depression and madness. There's some things that she does in this movie that, harken back to Fatal Attraction, where, she gets really mad and psychotic. It's not a horror picture, but it's more like a psychological sort of mind thing where, her perception of reality is failing, and she just goes into depths like, whoa. But Jennifer Lawrence plays Grace, and yeah, she plays Grace, and Robert Pattinson plays Jackson. And through the first part of the movie, they seem happy. They're moving into Jackson's uncle's place in the film, and it's a metaphor for the whole entire movie because it's like every new couple. When you get in, you get a house, you try to make it yours. There's going to be some conflicts. There's going to be some things that make you go crazy. Um, and you kind of see her not being able to relax. She's got every kind of stressor coming from her that are little. I mean, they build up, and they do build up, guys, let me tell you. But I think every couple can relate to some of the things that goes on here. Now, this film was also produced by Martin Scorsese himself, which again was like, okay, let's check this out. The film runs just under 2 hours. And I gotta tell you, I've seen some of Jennifer Lawrence stuff. This film here is probably her best work because you actually believe she is losing her grip on reality. She's turning a little bit psycho. And it's just an amazing thing to watch her go through that. Now, this premiered in May at the Cannes Film Festival in 2025. It got a 5 minute standing ovation. I watched it. I just got done watching it. That's why I'm in here talking about it. It's something you can't take your eyes off of. Every time you think Grace's character, or Lawrence's character Grace, is getting, taking 2 steps forward, she goes opposite another direction, and her performance and some of the scenes that they put her in, it makes you really believe, and you could see this happening. The one thing I did like about this movie is it's grounded in reality. Like, this can actually happen, and I'm sure if somebody sees the film that has things like this go on in their life, they can probably relate. There's a lot to like in this film, but again, you have to be in it and not expect it to jump at a breakneck pace. It moves very slow, and the method works. It works because it builds up tension. And it's a very, very interesting thing to watch. So, let's get into the cast. As we already covered, Jennifer Lawrence plays Grace, Robert Pattinson plays Jackson, Nick Nolte plays Harry, which is the grandfather, and Sissy Spacek is Pam, the grandmother. Gabrielle Rose is Jen, and Sarah Lind is Cheryl. They're friends of theirs that don't get introduced to the end of the thing. This film is an adaptation of the 2012 novel of the same name. The original title, or the original book, was actually written in Spanish. I didn't know that. I'm kind of pulling facts off Wikipedia because I want to do this right. Like I said, it's a really, really wicked movie. Lawrence, there's a lot to like about this film. Now, there's things that people should watch the movie for. There's other things that I think bring the film down just a tad. The first thing is that Jennifer Lawrence took this role, and it required her to do full frontal nude scenes as well as a few sex scenes. And she does it without a care. And it's grounded, like I said, again, in reality. It's not there to say, hey, salivate. It's there to say, hey, this is what's going on. The watching her descend into madness is pretty wicked because you really don't know until you watch this film where it's going to end up. The thing that I didn't like about it, just a tad, is that you have to give this thing multiple viewings. It is a long movie, and you have to go into it knowing that there's not a straight narrative. There kind of is, but it's disjointed and broken up. Like I said, it received a large standing ovation from the Cannes Film Festival. Now, it was also done by Marion Ramsey. I'm sorry, not Marion Ramsey, Lynn Ramsey. Sorry. Among her films are We Need to Talk About Kevin and, let's see, Ratcatcher. She's done a lot of short films. Music videos, she did Black and White Town by the Doves. So We Need to Talk About Kevin was one of her biggest hits. And that starred Tilda Swanson and John C. Riley. I have never seen that film, but I heard it's a very, very good psychological thriller. So I might, since I really like this, I might check that out. But she also did a movie called The Lovely Bones. And apparently, it was announced that Ramsey was announced to direct the adaptation of Lovely Bones. And apparently she kept handing in drafts, thought they were good, but they weren't exactly what was making the book a success. And it looks like Peter Jackson took over, so she did not do that. But like I said, this film is pretty amazing. And like I said, you'll see elements of David Lynch in this. The cinematography was really good. The nature of the story was really good. And Lawrence, if you watch this movie for any reason, you know, just watch it till the end. You don't really have to like it if you don't get into it. Watch her performance though. It's amazing how dark that Lawrence's performance as Grace goes into the abyss. It's shocking to say the least. And this is a little bit art house, I'm not gonna lie. It has that very polished look to it. It has the uh, the attitude of every time she snaps, you kind of want to see how far she'll go next time. And her character, I think, embodies everybody, every woman that has dealt with this, just maybe on a larger scale. Um, but there's a lot going on in this film, and like I said, it probably would take repeated viewings. It was put out by Black Label Society, and as far as I know, you can buy it on 4K. But I watched it on Mubi. The only thing is on Mubi, we got our settings and everything because you can set default and you can set captions and whatnot. And because they import movies from all over the world and all these sort of independent, groundbreaking auteurs, some of the captions are in another language. They're not bad. In this film, there was only two instances of that, and it really didn't take away from the movie. Um, but this film, it kind of sporadically jumps around and shows you again, what first married life can be, how you're all happy, you guys are having sex all the time, everything's perfect, and then slowly descends into madness. And she goes, I mean, I cannot overstate this enough. She goes completely off the rail. There's some things in this movie that I don't even know. I don't want to ruin because it's crazy. Um, it grossed 11 million at the box office. Like I said, it was produced by Martin Scorsese and Jennifer Lawrence, so that's cool. It's one of those ones that probably you'll blink and you'll miss it, but when you watch it, it has some power to it, guys. And having watched it without my wife, there is one thing that I've come away with this film with, is that when you get older, into marriage and you're married for a while, there are certain needs that women have, whether it be, companionship, sex, whatever. And it made me just want to kind of crawl into bed with my wife after watching this, just holding her. Because this situation it's not happening to me, which is good. Um, so definitely, if you have a movie or you want to give it a shot, or you like independent or glossy looking films, as I call them, or movies with a lot of substance, and you really like Jennifer Lawrence and see her want to see her take a dark psychotic turn as Grace, definitely give this up. You give this a chance because I was really looking forward to, I got up watching this thinking it's going to be some stupid, girl movie that, I'll get bored within 5 minutes. But as the story progressed, I was drawn into it. I was sucked into this. And I was wondering, how far is this psychosis with Grace going to go? And it's amazing. Very good movie. And not one that I would casually watch, but this one stood out, as I said. I got it on movie, and like I said, I got the little invitation to go see it. And I was kind of curious because it looked like a horror film. Whenever I read the card, it looked like they got married, and for some reason they were trying to kill each other, like the War of the Roses meets Friday the 13th. This is a lot better adaptation, I think, because it builds tension. There's not a doll scene in this movie. There is a lot of subliminal imagery in this film, though. I will give you that. That's why I said it would take required viewings, because as her grip on reality, tightens, she sees things that aren't there. So it's hard to distinguish as a viewer what was real and what's in her head. By the end of the movie, you pretty much can tell she's either completely psycho or she did the things that she did. All in all, not a very boring picture. This thing was pretty wicked. It was powerful. It was raw. And you don't really see too many of these movies done like this where they have a great cast, they deal with a subject, and I know the Academy Awards and the Emmy Awards, Golden Globes, whatever, were just a little bit ago. And I didn't pay attention to them, but I would really hope she won for Best Actress because she really deserves it. And I think there's things in this film that every married couple will have to deal with at some point in their marriage. Whether it's a fight, whether it's an erratic behavior, freak out, something. But very powerful film. I'm just going to put it that way. And like I said, if you guys seen Let's Talk About Kevin, you might actually like this. So I really did. It's probably on my top films of the year right now because all I've been doing is horror, so I've been like distancing myself from other genres. But this movie really got me and it pulled me in, and Lawrence was amazing. I haven't seen acting like that since I would put her performance up there with Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, where you go in expecting one thing and you're totally blown away by how captivating, Adam Sandler's performance was. Because everybody's so used to seeing him in comedies. But when you see him in a drama and he can really stretch and he makes you believe, that's the same thing Jennifer Lawrence did in this film. She makes you believe that what's going on is very, very real. And that's what the thing is in this film, is that it's so grounded in reality that it stays with you. So definitely one to check out if you really want to. I recommend it highly. But again, I say this in it's not for everybody, because some people might get offended at the content of the film. Somebody might think that's too close, turn it off. Other people looking for a straight narrative will sort of get a little bit thrown off here because, like I said, with the subliminal imagery going on with her character, it is tough to tell. But if you've watched a David Lynch film and you're familiar with that style, this should be no problem. But yeah, big ups to Admiral Joe. And one other thing I want to mention real quick. So I told you about the dude in my family who had cancer. Well, I actually talked to him yesterday. And I got to tell you guys, he's doing really good. We had a FaceTime thing. And it was real hard to do because, again, nobody wants to see anybody like that. But you know what? Checking in, I think I made his day. And my wife was there. And it felt really good just to say, hey, dude, we're here. We got you. We family. And he said the same thing back. And I cannot tell you guys that, whenever you first hear news like that, everybody's shocked. Everybody is just like, whoa. But he's doing okay. He's doing good. And I hope to see him again, because that dude, that's my dude, man. You know what I mean? He's my boy right there. He always been my boy. Well, he helped guide me. And I told him that yesterday. But I know he's a strong dude. I know, because he dealt with me whenever I was a kid. I know this. And I know he can kick the crap out of this. I know he can. But it was great talking to him. I love that dude. Always have. Always will. So, I just want to let you guys know that maybe if you have somebody like that in your family, maybe just say hi. Say, hey, man, I got you. I'm here. What's up? Because some people, man, they might not know it, or they might know it and not know it until you tell them. So my wife kind of got that going, so I did that. But he thinks the world of me, and I think the world of him, and I think that, some people, again, they don't know how much of an influence they have on you till you tell them. Just like all my people watching my videos right now. I keep doing these things. And when I started, guys, I only expected maybe 10, 15 people. But I keep growing, and I appreciate the love. But yeah, so my man Ray, keep it rocking. I know you'll beat this. My man Admiral Joe, you rock, man, you rock. McKenna, I hope you watched this film. It was pretty wicked. It's not a horror film, but you might enjoy it. I did. If you don't mind your boyfriend seeing a little nudity, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. And if you're watching this on Monday, grab yourself a cup of Silver Stream coffee, because they're good. They're good. Get a Nutty Irishman, extra shot, extra flavor. That's what I do. Oh, wait. I shouldn't have said that. That's my drink. But yeah, all good people. And to all my fans, thank you. And I hope you guys enjoy the flick. And we're supposed to get some nasty storms, so I'm in the middle of laundry and house cleaning and all this other stuff. And like I said, I didn't sleep good. I was up. And I figured I'd give this flick a try. And you know what? I'm glad I did. And if she didn't win Best Actress, then there's something wrong with the Academy Awards. And that's my 2 cents. Peace.